Okay, take 3 or so. I'm so excited I can't even talk. I think I just found the Holy Grail of die cutting. I have searched on YouTube and I couldn't find a video which shows the die cutting hack I want to show you today. I couldn't find anyone who has done that before. To be honest, I couldn't believe that because there are so many videos, so many videos out there, which show you how to die cut things and how to make your life easier and blah, 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 blah. But I couldn't find what I found out the other day. So I'm really hoping that this is new to you and that it helps you as well, because this hack made my life so much easier. Mind blowing. So, hello. First of all, hello. This is Luise. Have I already said that? I have no idea. So what is the problem? No matter if we have such a machine where we have to, do this here with our hand, or an electric die cutting machine where you press the button and then this thing, goes through the machine automatically. The hack works for both of those machines. And it doesn't only work for this small size of machine, because this is approximately DNA 5, but it also works for the DNA 4 machines. Okay, so the first problem is when we, and with that the hack solves the problem, when we have our base plate here, and then I have this adapter for the thin lids. Might be a little bit different depending on the brand of machine you have. Please think about the sandwich you would usually use, but for me it's like this. And then I put the next thing here on here, one of the transparent plates, and then I would use a piece of paper. Let's take this one here, because why not? It's laying around here. This is from my last video, still laying here. This is from the rose-crowded CANDYFLOSS palette from my PAPERCOLORPENDIUM. But doesn't matter, could be any kind of paper. What would we do? We would place this here, right? And then we would take our die cuts, and perhaps we would think, okay, we want to have a ton of pink flowers. So we take all of these die cuts, and then the struggle, at least for me, already starts, because we need to put these here, like so. And then obviously I want to try to save as much space as possible. So what I would do is I would put them here to this thing. For example, like so. Then when this thing is already in the machine a little bit so that it can't fall out, I mean, you look when it's like so that I have space here to place another one here. It, in the past, often happened to me that this, can you see, it comes off. Of course, you could put a book under here to solve that problem, but that is not, it's just not so handy for me. And when I look at this, please ignore this, I wouldn't be able to run it through the machine, it's just an example. But, well, it's a good example, because here I would see, this is here peeking out, I would need to rearrange this shit. Sorry. I love die cuts, but in this moment they turn into something like a shitty tool, because the result would be great, but it wrecks my nerves that it is like this, And then an additional problem could be if your plate, this transparent plate, is a little bit like so, because you love your die cut machine, then the struggle would be even bigger. Of course, you could cut with such a plate, nothing wrong with that, but when you place that here, look, can you see? If I try to place them here so that they don't waste too much space, and with that paper, I would have a really hard job to place them here without having them moving. Also, let's take this plate back, because let's be very fair and very close to the reality. In reality, I would probably use the flatter plate, which is not warped like that, for here, and take the other one and put that over here and run it through the machine just to make my life easier. But even with this, if I now think, okay, let's place them as close to each other as possible to save paper, then it could happen when I take this plate, and perhaps that has happened to you as well already. Look, can you see that? This thing is not magnetic. With a magnetic plate, yes, that problem could be solved. With the magnetic plate, it would not happen that if you do this and put the plate, the second plate on here, that this moves. But if that happens, that is the biggest catastrophe you can imagine, because if this happens and this goes over here and you don't realize that early enough, then I will not do it, but please imagine this would be overlapping and I would run it through the machine. Then I would destroy both of these thinnets here, and that is obviously not what I want. So what I was thinking is, I want to cut a ton of these out, a ton of die cuts out, because I like to have some pre-cut things in my stash. In the second part of the video, by the way, I will also show you my new die cut storage. I have something, you know, a new setup in my drawers, which I find really genius, by the way. But let's first talk about this, okay? So what we are going to do is we take a paper. This is just some black watercolor paper. Please take a paper which is relatively sturdy. Don't take a flimsy tissue, napkin, toilet paper kind of paper, yeah? Just something which is sturdy. This is not for cutting out the die cuts, it's just for the heck, yeah? This is just a tool. So with that, this could also be something like a trash can paper, yeah, which you have left over. I've just taken this because my trash can is empty. But this could be anything. And this here, we want to have, I'm so excited, we want to have in the size of this so that it fits on here perfectly. So then we take this, we put this away, we place them to a surface where we can play around with these things. We don't struggle around with the fact that this could be warped, because what we can do is we can place these as safe spacing, space. I need a holiday. I'm so sorry. Space saving. What did I say? Where's my coffee? I don't even have coffee. We place them in a really space saving way, okay? So you could even put them like so to each other. I mean, you can't let them overlap, yeah, but that's a logical thing. But you can place them like so, yeah, this close. I would never risk to do that on the machine, because as I said, when you run it through the machine, it could happen that under the plate they get overlapping, and that this distance in my life before I found the hack would be way too risky to run it through the machine. But with this hack, that can't happen anymore. Nothing can happen anymore. Yes, aliens could comment. No. So, yeah, take your time, please, with this step, okay? Because this thing, we will keep that for the future. So what we are doing here is something we do only once, and we keep this sheet as long as it will hold. You will see in a few minutes what I mean, because this is like a transportation sheet now. So yeah, that being said, then we take the magic heck tape. It's just some painter's tape. We take this, and now with this step, please be careful that the thinlits don't move, because now we want to put tape all over this whole thing. That might seem to be absolutely stupid, but it is genius. Please believe me, okay? Just believe me. What we want is that they stay in place, and very, very, very important, please make sure that the tape is on the thinlits and on the paper. Don't think, I don't want to waste my tape, blah, blah, blah. I take less tape. I say that because I've been there. I tried that. I mean, this is already like, you know, an updated version of this hack, because I found that without the camera, obviously. Otherwise, you would have already seen it. But this is already my solution for making this even more durable and more handy. And I tried out to do this without so much tape, but you will hopefully see in a second that this amount of tape is totally worth the money and time and, you know, you spent making this. And if I would not feel the need to explain this to you and talk to you and laugh about my weird English, then this would be even faster. Because, you know, once you understood why you do this, this would be done in a few minutes, yeah? And then we can take this and we just cut this, what's too much off, because otherwise this would stick to our, yeah? We don't want it to stick to the thing. When we have that, we do the following thing. We take this and now we finish the preparation work, okay? This thing is meant to stay in your stash because you can use that over and over again. But to be able to do so, we need one round of cutting here. So that means I place this here, and you can see I can just put it here now because it's one piece and not a bazillion of single thinlits, yeah? I can place this here, I can make sure that this is in the correct position, and then I can take my second plate and I can just run this through here. And this now makes that we cut through the black paper, right? So this would be like the same, like if we would just place them on the paper and cut through it. It's nothing fancy, nothing else. Because it's just helping to create this sheet. And now you can see we have cut through this here. And now we do nothing else than we usually would do, but from the back and without taking these out. You can see this is still one piece. Can you see that? Does that make sense? Because the tape holds the die cut on the paper and is just one sheet, and we can use this then again. But to use it on the paper we want to cut our flowers from, we need to take the black paper out. And for that, I'm just taking a tool here, like this, and I'm just taking this out. And now, this is our new thinlit. It's how can we say that? It's a multiple thinlit, or don't know, because this is what we want to store exactly like that now. Later, I mean not now, because we are not finished yet. Where is my packaging? So I will put the others I have left over here from the set also to such a sheet, and then I can just put this in here, put this in my sleeve, and I can store it exactly like that. And now I place this on purpose with the cutting blade facing me. Yeah, usually if I would put a paper on here and I wanted to cut the traditional way, I would, why is my camera so weird? Why can you always see me? That's so weird, I'm sorry. You would usually place it like so that it's, you know, with the cutting side on the paper like so, and the paper's under the thing. But for this trick, I found out it's easier for me when I take this like so and put it like so to the plate, facing, so this stuff is facing me, and now the tape is on this. Yeah, you could try it the other way around, but I found out that it's easier when I do it like this. So then I want to take my paper, and in case it's a paper which is one-sided, like this digital paper here from the Rose-Crowded Candy Floss palette from the PAPERCOLORPENDIUM, so this is just a digital paper, I want to take this, and the nice side, yeah, the stuff I want to see on the die cuts later, I put like so on here, so that this cuts into the nice side of the paper and the side I want to have facing me later. If you, for example, have an ideology paper or so, they are usually printed on both sides. Please decide for the side you want to see later and take that and put that like so on here, okay? So then we take this. Where is the other plate now? We take this. Then we run this through. Oh my goodness, I need to stand up. Oh, usually I would never cut while sitting. That is a little bit hard, especially because it's only hard because the camera is over my head, and oh. Okay, so here we go. When you take this off, you can immediately see that it has cut through perfectly. So then we can just take the paper off. And with that, sometimes the die cuts also come out. You know, we just take it out, okay? Do that carefully, please. But you would do that carefully as well if you would cut the traditional way, right? So then you just take these out, just like so. And then we have the same thing like with traditional cutting, but we have all of them at once. And we can just take this sheet again and cut more. So just for a little orientation in the room, for all of you who are interested in where we are exactly, you know, and how I have set up my furniture here in the craft room. This is the table where we've just been. This is the thing I've shown you in one of the last videos where we made these drawers from cardboard that then in the end look like old wood. So this is just the space where I'm filming all the videos, and now we are just going to the left to this thing I need to clean up. I mean, it's not dirty, but you know. And we are talking about these drawers here, because in these, let me zoom out a little bit so that you can see it better. These hold all of my die cutting stuff here on the bottom, and oh, these are just some kitchen drawers. You know, it's just kitchen furniture which I have in my craft room. So the bottom drawers hold my die cuts here like so. You can also see this organization system a little closer in the old craft room to a video from last year. Then these hold, for example, my switch machine here, and you know, some replacement blades for my paper trimmers, you know, all that stuff that nobody wants to see, which we want to hide in the drawers. And in here I have my embossing folders, my big dies. And then these are the drawers I wanted to show you, and these look different to what you've seen in last year's craft room tour, because now I have this in here. And I now want to try to bring my phone somehow into this thing so that I have both hands free to show you this system here with these clear little boxes. Let me try that. Okay, so here we go. This is a pretty wild camera setup now, but I'm really hoping that this construction will hold at least until I finish this. Hopefully my phone will not fall into this drawer. Well, that shouldn't be your problem. So the main change to what you've seen in last year's video in this drawer is the following thing. In the old video, I've shown you this drawer and I said, well, it's pretty empty because I need to cut some things so that I have them here at hand, pre-cut, ready to go for my project. Because it's really nerve-wracking when you work on something and you want to use a die cut, and then you have to take out the machine and you have to cut this one piece and then you have it there for your project. That takes so much time. So I thought I want to have cut out like flowers, birds, butterflies, and so on, what I use in my projects a lot, so that I then can come to this drawer and have everything in here. And the main change is here the containers I have in here now. So these are from Amazon. I can link them down below for you. I've bought them on Amazon Germany. They are stackable, is that a word? So that you can fill them up until here where the next one starts, but that is absolutely enough. Imagine I would have this much pre-cut paper in here. I mean, you know, how much would you need? Yeah, so this is for me, for my understanding, a pretty space saving thing. That is the word of the year, I think. So I can fit multiple of these like so in here, and as you can see, there's a lot of space in between them. When I found them on Amazon, and I tell you that because I don't want you to make that mistake, at least, you know, in your head, and also not in the reality, because in my head there was this thing that I thought I want to make the most of this drawer and I want to fit as much as possible into this drawer. But please have in mind, when you have containers where you have multiple on top of each other so that you can really use the space, that you need space for your hands to come in here. And that is the thing. I can now, look, when this is like so, I can't get it out, you know, because, you know, how would I get it out? If it would be filled up until here, if I would have found these things, which would then be with measurements which go until here and also until the very edge here. At first glance, you know, in my head, I wanted to find something which fills the whole drawer, but that is not clever, because how to get this out then if this was in here? I couldn't get it out. And because of that, it's really handy that I can do this. And here, if I would now just lift it up, I couldn't get it out because there is the edge of the table, but I can do it like this. And that is what I measured and what I then found out also with the arrangement of these containers in here. And then I can take this whole thing out, and this is not filled up yet. Yeah, but let me make a better example. Let's, for example, take this one out. Then I can take it out and I have this whole thing here. I can clearly see what I have in here. And then I can just do it like this and take the flowers out from here. And as you can see, in one of these, I have just the same flower, yeah, just cut from brown, white, or black paper, but it's just one and the same flower. So the plan is, I'm sorry, to take the different the different sets and put the same flower always into the same container. Obviously, it depends on how many thinnet sets you have, if that is always possible. For some, I mean, if you have 3,000 different flowers, then you would need 3,000 containers. Yeah, that would be probably a problem. But I don't have so much that I think can manage to at least bring them into an order which is logical for me. And even if I have something like this here, for example, there is a similar, wait, I haven't cut these out. Do I have an example? Yeah, here, for example, look into this thing. Here I have these, which are all the same, but there are also some in here which are pretty similar, yeah, design-wise. So that means if I want to have a flower which has like a little solid thing, but here a little bit gestrüpp as well, then I can take one from here. If I wanted to have something like really delicate, then I could, for example, take one from here where I have these as well as these, yeah, because I thought, let me take two out. These are pretty, they are not the same, I do see that, yeah, but they are a little bit similar, aren't they? You know, they fit well together. Also, the combination of both of these I find pretty great. Probably not black on black, but let's make another example like so. I find this a really nice combination, and this is also what I use a lot in combination on my projects. So I paid attention to that, how I have put them in here. And now I can just stand over there on my table. I can have my machine on the table right here. I can cut, and then I can take these out, place them on my table next to the machine, like, you know, next to each other, and then I can just throw the flowers I've cut out in there and then just put this thing back into the drawer. And also, especially for these tiny things, like this one here, for example, these, I use them like if I would talk about coffee, yeah, I need a ton of these for my projects, because I find them so nice for example, also for clusters and so on. So I have some where I really have like a ton of these pre-cut. I've even used some of these up already, and yeah, then they are all in here. In here I also have things I can use for making layered flowers, so that's also what I store in here, because I thought that is good, you know, it's the same context. And in the other one here, let me somehow put you over here to the other part of the desk. So this is now just, you know, we just looked into that drawer here, so they are next to each other, so that I also can open both, and I have this buffet of things here. And these containers are also available in other like formats. This is, for example, a square, as you can see, where then also bigger things fit in really well. And what I like is that I can just, you know, take this whole thing out and have them all ready to go, and I can see what's in there, and I can take them apart like this. So the goal for 2026 is to go through these drawers here and cut even more with the sets I have in here. And then I have all of these full, and as soon as one of these will get empty, you know, when I have used all of the birds up, then I know I need to take an evening or so and cut more birds, cut more flowers, depending on what's empty. Yep, that's it for today. I'm hoping you could find some inspiration from this video for your own craft room, and I'm really hoping that you didn't know about that trick I've shown you. Please let me know if you have seen that already anywhere else. If you have a link where you've already seen that hack with the sheet, then yeah, let me know. Send me the link, okay? Because I would be really interested if anyone else has already done that, because perhaps there are even more details about that hack I couldn't find out yet. And of course, I would be interested in that, because everything which saves time and paper and which doesn't wreck our nerves so much, that is good, isn't it? So that we can spend more time on crafting and on the fun stuff than on preparing all the things. So have a great day and see you the next time. Bye.